It's raining. Stranded in a bad neighborhood with a flat tire, two women wait for a friend to arrive. While struggling with the tire, they're spotted by joyriding juveniles on the hunt. Stop the Threat starts now. Hello and welcome to Stop the Threat. My name is James Towle. On this week's episode, we take you to the Buckeye state of Ohio for a reenactment in which we have entitled Car Trouble. But first, allow me to introduce you to this week's panel of experienced professional experts. Wes Doss, president of Kyber Interactive Associates. Rich Portwood, police officer from the state of Illinois. And Sergeant Duncan Stewart, retired Connecticut PD. Sergeant, I got an email from a young man who's thinking about law enforcement. He's worried about the academy. Now, I know that you taught in the academy. Can you help us with this?
The first thing is going through all the process, which is, pretty extensive. You have obviously backgrounds. Some jurisdictions give lie detector tests. You have physicals, actual physical agility tests. You have medical. You have a lot of things. If you get through all of that, the academy's not going to be a problem. They're already saying that you are a suitable candidate for this. So if you kind of, keep your nose clean and do what you're supposed to do, you get through it.
I think one of the other things he mentioned in the email was that that the laws are changing daily. He feels like he's going to need to be a lawyer almost now to become a cop.
Well, in the beginning, he wouldn't have to worry about that. He'll just do what he's told.
Well,
really, he's not going to be making monumental decisions day one. And after he gets out of the academy, after he goes through his FTO and he does all of those things, he's going to get some direction and some supervision. And then, like anything else, it's a profession that you make of it what you want. He says, well, does he have to be a lawyer? Maybe he doesn't have to be a lawyer, but does he have to read certain court decisions, that especially in areas of use of force? And does he have to keep up on search and seizure stuff? Yeah, you do, if you want to be good at this.
Right, if you take it seriously. Yeah. Rich, you got any comments on the academy?
I love the experience, and I think it kind of goes back what you were saying, that it was a good foundation, but I was unprepared to make those decisions right off the bat. And I think it helps getting a little bit of experience. The real world taught me more than the academy ever did.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. Wes?
I went to the academy right on the heels of getting out of active duty, so I was probably over-prepared, at least for the regiment and the lifestyle during the academy, because we had a resident academy class. But as far as the decision-making stuff, I think you're spot on, because the reality is it's not every law that you need to be completely versed in. It's really knowing where that resource is at and just having that common sense.
So really what you're saying to me is that there's not a lot of difference between the academy now than there was possibly when you were there? The basics are the same?
Well, some decisions have changed the way we're doing certain things, but I would say that the structure is probably very much still the same.
You would agree with that?
I would say it's a little kinder and gentler now.
A little kinder, a little gentler?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Things like we used to box in the academy. We don't do that anymore.
We did 11 years ago.
There's certain things that, that have changed.
What's more important, physical ability or mental ability?
Well, I think it's a combination. I don't think you can sacrifice one for the other.
Okay.
And I think the biggest thing is mindset.
We got to go. When we come back, I'm going to show you part one. But let me ask you this before you leave. When's the last time you changed a tire? Don't go away. We'll be right back. Welcome back, viewers. This is going to be a very interesting segment. If you'd like to join us, go to the social media contacts you'll see on the screen in a minute, and we'll discuss it with you. But before I go to that, I first want to give you a little research that we found that pertains to this particular segment. In the years of 2012 and 13, 17% of roadside violence ended in a shooting or a stabbing. I know, and I know the panel will agree with me on this from speaking to highway patrol officers, they police a small city every day on the highways and byways of this country. And they have said to me that there are criminals that move about in vehicles looking for roadside incidents that they can get involved with. You've got a flat tire, you've got an engine problem, you're standing out there with a can of gas. Be careful with that. Let's watch part one.
Great. It's great.
That's fine. Let me call my husband, see where he's at.
Who does that? Who leaves a piece of trash right in the middle of the road where anyone can run over it? They can hit my undercarriage too.
Hey. Yeah, we're fine, but she has a flat. Yeah. We're at the corner of Gold and 44th. Thank you. Love you. Bye.
Of course it's raining. Where is he?
He'll be here in a couple of minutes.
Mm-hmm. That's what he said.
Never thought about that. That could
You
work.
two okay?
Hey. Yeah, we're fine.
I'm back. All right, show me what happened.
Flat tire.
What?
Yeah.
What were you driving over?
It was a 2x4 lying in the middle of the street.
It shouldn't take long to fix. You do have a spare, right?
Yes.
All right.
Yeah. Don't think I've used it yet.
Yeah, no, no.
Alright, we're just gonna have to unbury it.
What are we waiting for?
Easy pickings.
Hey, man, let's take that piece, go hit the corner store. Could use a beer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, whoa, what's that? What?
Turn around, man, back there. Turn around, man, hurry up. You are moving way too daggone slow. All right, right there. Pull up in the front of it. Come on.
It's only
I
because
knew
they
it.
have some really good recipes.
They
Okay?
have delicious pepperoni.
It's only because she's the
What
one who
is
cooks them.
cheese?
Kind of like a
Hey guys, how you doing?
Hey, how's it going?
You mind telling me how I can get to the highway from here?
Oh yeah, you just go down the street right here and you see right on the corner, you go right.
And how about you give me everything
Oh my
you
God!
got?
There's a whole lot here that is uncomfortable. Number one, this is probably one of the most common things that's going to take place here. Everybody gets a flat tire. So I'm going to start out by asking this question. Is it a good idea to wait outside your car until help arrives?
No, probably not. It's probably best to stay inside the vehicle and stay put, stay at least semi-secured. But honestly, inside the vehicle, outside the vehicle, it probably wouldn't have made much of a difference if they're coming up to rob you while you're at your vehicle.
Rich?
I'm going to kind of take a no approach to both because, in my opinion, you need to have some initiative and self-reliance that you don't need to be waiting on someone. Just go ahead and start this process and get back on the road as fast as you can.
I just think this is pretty much normal, routine deal. And, you know, you get a flat tire, I don't think anybody is thinking that the worst things are going to happen. Where I think this goes wrong is when that car stops and the guys get out of the car. How, at that point, how do you react? What do you do?
Okay. You know, I'm going to say this. I think the reason why people get out of the vehicle is because we've seen so many roadside collisions. Okay? There's a car parked on the side, everybody drifts over and bang, they hit a car. So I think people get out of the car because they're afraid and they stand away from the car. I'm going to say that if you're going to do that, pull as far off the road as you can and then get out of the vehicle. I'd even go one step further. This is one of those times where I'm going to say, pick up a cell phone, leave the cell phone on, talk to somebody, and keep talking to somebody until help arrives. I'm going with that one. Anybody want to?
You touched on something too that I didn't like is how they were at the rear of the vehicle. So they're on the back end of that car. They don't have to have a bad guy come up to rob them. Somebody just has an accident, runs into them, and they're
Yeah, right.
So you know, out of the car is one thing. Out of the car and standing behind the car like that in the dark, not good.
It kind of looked like there was a street light there, that they made it to a street light, but it was a deserted area. I just kind of wondered, could you have limped on that flat tire until you got someplace
That's
a
what
little
I'm
more
going to say.
populated?
When we come back, I do have a comment I want to make on this, so don't go away. Welcome back, viewers. This is going to be a big topic, and I want to hear from you on social media. I think we're all going to have an opinion, and I want to hear yours. But let me go further, because I want to agree with Rich on this one. You got a flat tire, you know, drive that thing until hell freezes over. I'm sorry, turn on your flashers, pull over to the side. Who cares? Just keep, especially if you're a woman alone, right?
Yeah.
Why are you going to stop and become a victim and wait for something? Anybody want to chime in there?
It seemed like this was a pretty deserted neighborhood. It almost seemed like an industrial type neighborhood where you've got warehouses, and they just stopped there. Who knows how long it took for the one lady's husband to get there?
All right. Okay, let's watch part 2, and we'll come back with more.
Yeah, you just go right down on the corner, and then
Now
after
let's
you
give me
turn
everything you
Oh
got.
my God!
Okay, all right. Just gonna set this down. All right.
Get the purses.
What's yours?
Nice. You. Phone, wallet. Don't do anything stupid. Just hand it over. Nice phone.
Okay, we're good.
Easy.
You guys got what you wanted.
Ladies.
Sit down. Back up.
All right. All right.
It's all right.
You good?
Easy.
All right, man. Just all right. Cool. You got what you wanted. Just. You guys okay? It's good. It's good.
Okay, you're okay. I got you.
Yeah, there is so much here that I want to hear from you folks. Go to social media. There's a whole lot here we need to discuss, and we don't have time to discuss it all. 1, 2, 3, 4 guys get out of the car. Is this the time to be profiling? Maybe? Yeah. What do you think?
Yes. Well, that's like I said initially when we talked about, you know, whether you stop here, whether you stay in the car, whether you get out of the car. We could debate that. But when you got 4 guys get out of the car and they're coming at you and you can't see the guy's hands. I mean, as cops, the first thing you're going to say is, let me see your hands.
Right.
And even as, I guess, as an armed civilian, if you can't see somebody's hands like that, you got to think something's up.
Well, it seemed like they were totally oblivious to the car even pulling up.
The question that's begging is, you know, one, if you were armed from the very onset, late at night, abandoned street, ladies alongside the road, this car pulls up, there's nothing wrong in telling these guys, hey, we got it, I'm armed, I don't know who you are, do me a favor, please leave, I don't need your help. He waited till it was the OK corral to suddenly gun down these guys, and it seemed like timing was way off.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think so too, and I think you have to take into account that you're not alone. Okay, you've got other people that you're responsible for around that vehicle, and they are not aware that you're about to do what you're about to do.
Correct.
Because there is no plan, huh?
I'm sitting here thinking about not only from the safety standpoint, but from the legal standpoint. He waits until this guy is withdrawing. Everyone's going back to the car before he draws his gun and starts shooting. And at that point, is that the right time to shoot?
I don't know. I kind of like the idea of him going away.
Yeah, I think he should have allowed them to get in the car and leave.
If you've got it and you're concerned and it's so late at night, you know, you can tell them, you can show them, you could brandish it, but you don't have to go to guns with somebody.
Right,
But he chose, as this guy was in egress, he was walking back to his car to draw down on him and start pulling the trigger.
Right.
The only thing I would think is that did he, at least in his mind, did he perceive that even though as this guy is backing away, that he still is this guy's gonna shoot me. That would be the only justification if you think, geez, I'm about to get shot here, so I got to do something.
Did you think it looked like he was
I don't know, but it doesn't even matter how it looked. What did he think? What's his mindset?
Correct.
You know, so and that's I can't be in his head, but that's at least putting myself in that spot. That's how I would think. Is this guy about to shoot me, even though he's got what he wanted, and now he's leaving, but he's going to shoot me anyway, which is not all that uncommon in armed robberies? Then maybe you got to go for it.
Yeah, you know, I'm going to back up a little bit, and I don't know whether it was Wes or Rich that said it. I mean, hey, they're there to rob you. Give them the credit cards, give them the cell phones, give them whatever they want, and let them go away. If it's just you by yourself and you want to get involved in this, that's one thing. I'm not endorsing it, but that's one thing. But if you've got 2 or 3 people who don't know what's going on, and now suddenly you're going to a gunfight?
Yeah,
I mean, I'm not sure the clear thinking on that one.
You put everyone at risk at that point.
Yeah,
we've
including himself. He got shot.
There have been incidences, mostly involving law enforcement, where that's happened, where somebody has gone off duty, gone into a situation, and not taken into consideration what's happening around them when it happens.
Right.
Yeah, again, like I said, the only thing I think is, you know, was his justification that, and I hope it was that did he think I'm about to get shot here, and then if I get shot, what's going to happen to them? What's going to happen to my wife and her friend?
No, I understand
if
that,
that's
sure.
not his mindset, then I absolutely agree with Wes and Rich that he was wrong.
We reenact these as close as we can to the information we receive, and it is our information that the gunfight was not provoked. He made statements to law enforcement right in the beginning about why he did it. And I think you go a little bit too far when you're starting to assume law enforcement's mentality and that you are going to correct and justify an injustice. That's not your job, number one. You're not in danger. Well, I shouldn't say that. Yes, there was presently danger there, but I think it needs to be well thought out. When we come back, we'll talk about it some more. Welcome back. I hope you're on Twitter or Facebook because there's a whole lot we need to discuss here that we're not going to have time for. I'm not sure that cash and credit cards, once again, cash and credit cards and cell phones are worth getting in a gunfight over. I'm going to get emails. I know I'm going to hear from you. I know I'm going to hear from you on social media about, hey, I went out and I got my concealed weapons license. I train on a regular basis, and if I see an injustice, you are going to correct it because you feel like if you stop this person, then he's not going to turn around and rob someone else. And I get that kind of information from people. What do you think?
Well, it's really not. It's not their place. It's not their job. You know, as a concealed carry holder, as a civilian, that is for you to protect yourself or a third party, not to effect arrests, not to apprehend people, or you know, and like I had said before, the only justification I see it as far as that he did get into this gunfight, if he thought that this guy was about to shoot me, even after he got my, maybe he didn't get enough money, maybe he didn't get enough credit, whatever it may be. Other than that, unless he's in that mode where he's protecting himself and those other 2 women, really. Not a good idea.
I got a gun. I feel like that it's my job to stop this person from robbing someone else. Do I have the right to make that decision?
It really depends on the totality of all the circumstances that are there. I mean, is he robbing just another random person? Is he presenting danger to everybody that's around you? Is it this other person? Is it a loved one? Is it a family member? Are they geographically close to you physically, you know, wherever this is at? I mean, what does the scenario portray? And yes and no. You know, it's still at distance. It's still probably best to always be that witness as opposed to be that participant, because you don't necessarily really want to get into a shooting. You don't want to be involved in a shooting if you don't have to be.
Okay, if you're not afraid to get into the shooting and you feel like you need to stop the bad guy,
It isn't a matter of being afraid or not being afraid. It's whether the circumstances really dictate it. I mean, you might see a crime being committed, but is it something you need to actually intervene in or be that witness to after the fact?
Right. Well, I totally agree with you. I'm just saying that a lot of people are going to contact me one way or another, and I've received these that say, hey, that's the reason why I carry a gun. And my response to that is, no, it isn't. You are carrying a weapon for what reason? To protect myself, my family, and the people around me if life is in danger. That's why you're carrying a gun, right?
Illinois law says that you need to ask, is this happening to me? You can't necessarily enter into something that's happening to Sarge, and you're across the street. You need to be a witness to that. If it's happening to you, then you have the right to protect yourself at that point, but you can't intercede on someone else's.
I don't think that you're taking the role of law enforcement. You want to do that? Go to the academy.
Yeah.
You know, get involved. Other than that, then you need to stick with your situation. And if your life is not in danger or someone else's life is not in danger, there's another way to do this.
And
find the other way.
Did they do the other things here? Did they get that license plate of that vehicle? Which
we don't know. What's wrong with being a good witness?
Good description of the purpose, you know.
Right. There's nothing wrong with being a good witness. We got to go. I thank you. I want to hear from you on Twitter, Facebook. There's a lot of things here we did not touch on. Be safe, be trained, be alert. See you next week.